You're listening to the Vale This Week from Bro Radio. On this week's edition, I'll catch up with Nick Millington, Route Director at Network Rail, ahead of a series of consultation events that are taking place in Dinas Powys next week around the recent closure of the Brookside Level Crossing. Jasmin will speak to Rhian Diggins about the Glamorgan Archives' upcoming open event, where you can find out more about its work in preserving items of Welsh history. I'll speak to Nick and Georgia from Media Academy Cymru about a new project in Barry that aims to create new early preventive measures for young people and its work to address positive masculinity. Charley will catch up with Max Martin from Penarth Pier Pavilion as it looks to get onto the shortlist for the British Independent Film Awards Cinema of the Year shortlist. And Mike will sit down with Daniel Maggs from Barry RFC after the club secured £200,000 in funding from the Barry Neighbourhoods plan to support the first phase of its plans to create an improved community and sporting facility. And I'll catch up with Kate McHugh from Lantworth Major, who's joined Sir Tom Jones's team on the opening episode of The Voice on Saturday. And we'll look ahead to tomorrow's Barry Town Council, fantasy-themed fun day, and a jam-packed schedule of events across the bank holiday weekend. But first, last month we told you about the sudden closure of the Brookside Level Crossing in Dinas Powys by Network Rail, which took place after it saw an increase in high-risk incidents at the site. Now, Network Rail is planning a day of consultation events to update residents on the decisions made, answer questions and discuss solutions. Nick Millington is Network Rail's Route Director for Wales and West and joins me now. Nick, last time we spoke, it was shortly after you took the decision to close the Brookside Level Crossing in Dinas Powys. Can you tell us about the considerations that went into that initial closure?
We only close public rights of way very reluctantly, and it's due to a genuine safety concern, and we always use the appropriate powers to do that. So at Brookside, we are concerned about the number of people that use the crossing, but as a proportion of those people, there are people with vulnerabilities, and we've got a legal duty of care. But obviously, when people who are vulnerable, and that could be that they have hearing deficiencies or perhaps slow moving on the crossing. Obviously, we've got to keep safe separation from moving railway traffic. Now, 150 trains a day use that crossing, and we had due cause for concern. Now, we've obviously temporarily closed the crossing, and we're looking at options now. And obviously, we're really keen to engage with the stakeholders that use the crossing. We recognise it's inconvenient, but like I said, we've done it reluctantly, but necessarily.
I obviously mentioned at the time lots of people raising concerns about the closure, and obviously you mentioned why it needed to be done quickly. What's your response to those people who are a bit concerned about the impact it's having on them since the closure?
Well, firstly, I'm very sorry about the inconvenience. I recognise it, and my team recognise it. But I would balance what I say there with the other thing that we see that people wouldn't naturally see is the risk at public crossings that cross the railway at grade. And we have got a trained team of level crossing risk experts. And I am afraid, that there are some very significant incidents that occur at public crossings with the railway. And we aim to be proactive in this space and prevent that. We are looking at options. There may be options, but we don't know yet. And therefore, we need to consult with everybody. Like I said, I apologise to people for the inconvenience in the short term. We have got these drop-in sessions planned in the in the near future, and I'd encourage everyone to come along. We want to hear from you, but we also want to put our point across with regard to the genuine safety concerns that we have. We will be transparent. We're not hiding away from this.
And tell us about some of the work that's been undertaken since the closure to kind of understand some of those impacts, but also some of the solutions that might be there to make it possible for people to be able to use the crossing in the future.
So I can't promise anything at this point. The railway is quite a complicated piece of infrastructure. Some of your listeners, maybe technically qualified to understand that. Some may not. But there are some options for level crossing risk reduction that work in certain locations and not others. We are looking at options, but at the moment we have not decided on an option because we don't have one. and it's important that we level up with everyone in the community there to say, look, these are the risks that community members face using this crossing, and these are the kind of challenges that we face as the kind of legal safety duty holder. We will look at possibilities, but I can't promise that there will be one, and we will share that with everyone.
And you mentioned the consultation events next week. Tell us a bit about the idea behind those events, how they're going to be presented, and how they'll work for local people to come and engage with this kind of decision and ask questions.
Yeah. So we've got 3 sessions that will take place. They're on Wednesday, the 2nd of September. So there's 10 a.m. to midday at Lee Hall, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Yalden House, and then again at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Lee Hall. And we can provide the details for that. Indeed, we're engaging with the stakeholders to let them know about that. But we will explain the problem that we face. We'll explain the risk assessments, and we'll listen to feedback from stakeholders. And it's an opportunity for all points to be heard, or made and then heard, including all stakeholders, but ourselves. We see other risks in this location. There is misuse on this crossing. We will share all of our concerns. We're not hiding from this, and we, like I said, we only reluctantly close crossings. This one on a temporary basis, but we've done it because of genuine concerns that we have for public safety.
And as you mentioned, there's three venues across the day for people to come and engage with. What's the plan then, hopefully, to continue to engage with the local community and make sure that people feel like there's communications, they understand the next stages and the next considerations being made in the future?
Absolutely. We will share everything. We'll be transparent. There'll be an opportunity to ask questions, and we'll either answer them, and if we can't answer them on the spot, we'll take them away and come back. So we'll continue to engage. That's our intention here.
And finally, you mentioned the Brookside Crossing previously as one of the highest risk in the whole of the Wales and Borders network. Being riskless at this point, is there a chance that it might not reopen ever again?
I can't say at this time. I mean, there is a chance. Obviously, it won't. Yeah, there is a chance. But having said that, we'll work with the local communities to get the best outcome. But these, I mentioned it on the last interview that we did. We manage 1,000 crossings across the railway in Wales and Borders, and this is the highest risk crossing that we have to deal with. So you'll understand the gravity of our concerns, and also the nature of an emergency closure is quite a profound intervention that we've had to make. And therefore, I want everyone to kind of understand the reasons why we've done that and the risks involved to loved ones that use this crossing that not everyone possibly will understand.
That was Nick Millington, Network Rail's Route Director for Wales and West, and Network Rail is hosting a community engagement event next Wednesday at the Lee Hall in Dinas Powys. The details are on the news pages at broradio.fm. Next up on the Vale this week, Glamorgan Archives is opening its doors next month, giving people the chance to discover how archives work and explore some of the documents that tell the story of the region. Reporter Jasmin has been finding out more.
I spoke to senior archivist Rhian Diggins about what visitors can expect from the event and the work that goes on behind the scenes to preserve these records. For anyone who hasn't visited before, what is Glamorgan Archives and what can people find there?
Right. Well, Glamorgan Archives is a local archive service. So we're an archive service for 6 local authorities in South East Wales. So our building's physically located in Cardiff, but we also cover Bridgend, Merthyr Tydfil, Rhondda Cynon Taf, the Vale of Glamorgan, and also the western part of Caerphilly County Borough. And so we've been around since 1939, so we've got quite a long history. But basically what we do is we collect in old documents that relate to that local authority area that we cover. So old documents are really paper-based collections, but we're taking a lot more digital stuff these days. Things like letters, diaries, minute books, photos, maps and plans and things like that. So we collect those in and then we preserve them so that they last for as long as possible into the future. And then we make them accessible to anyone who wants to look at them and use them to do research.
What is happening at the Glamorgan Archives on Saturday the 12th of September?
Right. Well, on Saturday, the 12th of September, we're holding an open doors event at Glamorgan Archives. So Glamorgan Archives is open to the public, but it's just our search room, our research room, which is open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We don't normally open on the weekends, but on the 12th of September, the whole building's going to be open. So there'll be a chance for people to come in and find out a bit more about what we do. So we're running tours behind the scenes, but we've had an amazing response to those. And unfortunately, they're all now fully booked, but there's still a lot of other stuff going on in the building. We're going to have a display of documents from our collection, some of the treasures from the archives, some things that give an idea of the sort of things that we hold, and also a few documents then that relate to the connections between Wales and America, because this year we're noting 250 years since the signing of the American Declaration of Independence. So we'll have a lovely display of documents out. We'll have staff on hand to answer people's questions about their research and give them a few hints and tips about how to get started with any sort of research they might want to do. We're also being joined by Glamorgan Family History Society. So their members will be on hand as well to advise people who might want to get started with their family trees, or who maybe are a little stuck with their family history research. And they'll also be given 2 talks as well. So the talks are free of charge, no need to book for those, and people can come along for those. One of those is going to be on researching your Irish ancestry. So we know that there are a lot of people in South Wales who have family who came over from Ireland. And so that should be of interest to people. And the other talk then is about online family history, but not using the big 2 websites that people think of, Ancestry and Find My Past, but using some of the other sources that are out there online to do your family history. So that's sort of, in a nutshell, what we're going to be doing on the 12th of September.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. Just a personal story from you. What's the most interesting thing that you've come across in the archives whilst working?
Ooh, that's always a really difficult one to answer because there's so much interesting stuff. But I think one of my favourite documents, and I know that we'll have one of these on display on the 12th of September as well. It's not particularly old in the grand scheme of things. Our records go back to the 1140s. So this is quite recent. It's the early 20th century. But it's a volume of mugshots and arrest records for Cardiff police. So it's the people who were arrested in Cardiff during the early 1900s. So it tells you why they were arrested, what happened when they went to court, but it also has their photograph. And I think that's why I really like them so much, because so often in the archives, the older photos that survive tend to be of the great and the good, you know, the mayor in his chain or the big businessman. But these are photographs of ordinary, everyday people, and it's just amazing to see them.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. Also, I suppose it's putting an image to the story. Do you
Yeah.
have any last comments for the people of the Vale regarding the Glamorgan Archives, or anything that will be interesting for them to know for Saturday the 12th?
For Saturday the 12th, it's just a matter of coming along. We'll be opening the doors at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be open then until 3:30, so people can call in at any time. We're located right next to Cardiff City Stadium, so if you're coming from the Vale, it's actually really easy to get to us, because Leckwith, we're pretty much just across the border into Cardiff. We're almost in the Vale, so it's really easy to get to us on public transport. You could get the train to Grangetown Station. It's just a 5-minute walk from there. You can get the bus over, and we've got plenty of free parking on site as well. So yeah, I think that's it really. Just come along and see what you can find out about the history of your local area, your family, or anything that you're interested in. Our website is glamarchives.gov.uk. We're also on Instagram as Glam Archives, on Facebook, again, Glam Archives, Glamorgan Archives, and we're on Blue Sky as well.
That was Jasmin Baines talking to Rhian Diggins from Glamorgan Archives about their upcoming open day on the 12th of September. Next on the Vale this week, a multi-award winning organisation that supports children and young people to achieve their potential is launching a new project focused on working with young people in the Barry area. Nick Corrigan is the Chief Executive Officer at Media Academy Cymru, and Georgia Knowles is the lead on the new Viper project in Barry. Nick began by telling me a bit about the history of Media Nick began by telling me a bit about the history of Media Academy Cymru and its impact and work to date.
So we started out in 2010, really just being able to offer a little bit of extra support at a time when children and young people needed that support, when school wasn't going well, when education actually had failed, when they were seeing violence in the communities, they wanted somewhere to go. So we really offered a youth work offer to young people across Cardiff and Vale back then in 2010. And we developed that initial offer into education and training. And now we offer children and young people across Cardiff and the Vale education and training opportunities, as well as our wider social projects that now have spread from Cardiff and Vale, which is where we started, right the way across Wales.
How much of an impact has that work had, kind of working with people and increasing those opportunities?
It's really important to offer opportunities for a sustained period of time, because challenges and needs across populations, and particularly children and young people, change. And since COVID, we've seen a massive change in the needs of young people, the mental health, their ability to socialise with peers face-to-face rather than becoming very close with unknown communities online. And some of those unknown communities are what we know is causing worse mental health for children and young people.
And you've recently begun a project in Barry. This is where you've come in, Georgia. So tell us about how those kind of needs were identified and how that kind of formed this project.
So the project in Barry is called Viper, and it kind of brings together multiple interventions that Mac has been offering for a period of time to kind of compress it into one where there might be a young person who would benefit from multiple of those interventions. So where there is violence involved, whether that be peer-on-peer violence or violence in the home between young people and parents, perhaps, where there might be any weapons engagement or issues surrounding positive masculinity, and like what Nick said about these online communities. And it's available to anyone living in Barry or going to school in Barry at the moment.
You mentioned some of those interventions that are going to be in place. Tell us about some of those interventions and how they're going to challenge and respond to some of those the areas you've identified.
So there's 4 interventions. There's Ceridwen, which is about peer-on-peer violence. There's Parallel Lives, which is APVA, so where there might be violence within the home. There's Braver Choices, which focuses on any engagement with weapons. And then there's Positive Masculinity. And then Positive Masculinity, which focuses on tackling the Andrew Tate and Manosphere ideologies that are more recent.
And then how is that project going to be accessible for young people to kind of access that support? How can people find out more information and engage with you to get involved in some of those interventions?
So anyone can make a referral into MAC, whether that be schools, parents, young people themselves, and it'll be accessible to anyone that's living in Barry or going to school in Barry between the ages of 11 and 17.
And one of the areas there you mentioned was around that positive masculinity. It's obviously a topic that lots of people have been talking about recently off the back of things like that Netflix documentary as well. It's become something that's come to the forefront. How much of that documentary are you seeing when working with young people that's becoming a big issue?
Yeah, of course. It's very interesting, that documentary, because when we met people after watching that documentary, people were horrified, but we'd been seeing this regularly for 3 years. So there was nothing in that documentary that was something that we didn't know. We see children and young people that basically are groomed from online communities. And when I say groomed, very often the young people that we see are looking at very positive things in their lives. So about being healthy, about going to the gym, about owning a nice car. And it's from those, the algorithms are then grooming young males particularly into more abhorrent themes and ideologies such as misogyny, hatred of the Jewish nation. So anti-Semitism is a huge thing we've seen in the last year and a half. We look at we look at males that are looking at mass shootings, at online suicides, on sexual violence, all online, and the algorithms are grooming them from where they started out as positive into really negative things that have massive complications for not only mental health but then behaviours externally from their platforms of hatred and on the manosphere.
And how do your projects then go about addressing some of those ideas, those concerns that are coming up, and refocusing young people, I guess?
First of all, it's about building a positive relationship. So we're really proud that with every young person, child or young person that joins us, it's based on voluntary engagement. Nobody is forced to come to work with us. So we're very proud of having a youth work methodology of how we engage children and young people. And when we can engage them, we can then have conversations that are honest, real, about their experiences, what they're seeing, and actually try to challenge those narratives and really get them to think about what they're saying and think about what they're believing. Part of that, in fact, a big part of that is actually being able to critically analyse if what they're seeing online is true or it's fake news or it's AI generated. And that kind of is the launch pad for speaking to young people about what they really feel and think. And if some of those narratives are negative, then we actually try and counter those narratives. For example, if we get back to the weapons that Georgia was talking about, a lot of young people say that they carry weapons to feel safer in their communities because everyone's carrying weapons. And actually what we do is deconstruct that, and we actually let young people know that if you're carrying a weapon, you're 63% more likely to be attacked with that weapon or hurt with that weapon. So statistically, at the very least, if you're carrying weapons, you're far more likely to be a victim of weapons than being safer. So it's like having honest conversations with children, young people, about what they're thinking and if it's true, if it's not true, or getting young people to even contemplate thinking different ways and changing through that thinking, changing their behaviours.
So in terms of the opportunities that are available, how can people find out more about those opportunities available and access the work of Media Academy or be referred? So
the best way to do it is to have a look at the website, www.mediaacademycymru.wales, and the way to refer is on there, or a simple phone call. Give the team, the numbers on the website, a call, and we can be able to support you with any questions that you have.
That was Nick Corrigan and Georgia Knowles from Media Academy Cymru. You can find out more about their work and projects at mediaacademycymru.wales. Next on the Vale this week, after going full-time as a cinema back in March, Penarth Pier Pavilion is setting its sights on getting on the shortlist for the British Independent Film Awards Cinema of the Year. Charley Greatrex found out more.
Max Martin is cinematic assistant at Penarth Pier Pavilion and joins us now. Now, last time we spoke on the Vale this week, the cinema had just gone full-time. Remind us what led to that switch and what going full-time meant.
So I was hired back in May part-time, and since then we made full-time, which meant we can put a more in-depth cinema programme in place. So obviously we're just coming to the end of our summer holidays now, so we'll be doing even more screenings. So we've had 4 screenings 5 days a week, so 20 in total. So we've had things like Moana, Toy Story 5, and then for the adults, things like The Odyssey, Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it's been really good to get it up and running even further. Showing a mixture of Welsh language films, blockbusters, and more art house pieces. Bank Holiday Monday, we're doing our a celebration of Welsh Film Day. So we're showing 3 of the big Welsh film releases, so Mad Fabulous, Effie Blaenau, and On the Sea, which we're starting screening next week, as well as a Welsh surprise film.
Oh, wonderful! So many of the current films that are coming through, you're also showing at Penarth Pier Pavilion, because I think a lot of people sometimes think that it's the older films that are being shown, but it's not. It is the current films.
I like to say we're a proper cinema, so we've got all the new, well, not all the new films because we've only got the one screen, but we try and get as much variety in as possible. So we'll try and give you at least 2 or 3 options a week, and then we're also launching memberships at the end of the month, so you'll be able to get a discounted rate from £1 off your tickets to £5 tickets for everything, or even you can come unlimited amount of times.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. So what's the reaction been like to the increased programme of films and activities?
So it's been really positive. We're having a great interaction with our audience, and it's great to see familiar faces come in every couple of weeks. I think sometimes we have people come in 2 or 3 times a week because they want to try and see everything. Obviously, we're still spreading the word, so we've only been going for a couple of months now, so the word's still getting out there. So if anyone can share the word, it would be great, because people are really enjoying the experience they're having with us.
Coming to the end now of the summer holidays, how was the summer period at the pier?
It was really good. Yeah, we had a really successful run, especially The Odyssey, which did really well for us. I think people love seeing that kind of big screen experience on a much more intimate level, whereas like a more mainstream cinema has that kind of bigger atmosphere, I suppose, but they don't have the intimacy of our location. So I think people love coming on a local independent basis where you're going to have a proper intimate experience, going to speak to people and have a proper navigated journey into the cinema. So I think people really enjoy that. And obviously, I believe we might be the only, if not one of the only cinemas on the sea. And obviously we've got a film called On the Sea, so that's going to be really exciting. But yeah, I think we've got a really special experience that not many other cinemas can provide.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful setting, isn't it, for a cinema as well? And you can obviously make so much more of your trip to Penarth Pier Pavilion Cinema. You can do so much more in the area as well. So you've recently entered Cinema of the Year. What led you to put in the Pier Pavilion forward?
So I've always felt that we've got the potential to be one of the best cinemas in the country. I think we've always got a head start with our location. That is just so special. And I think we can provide a really special experience. So I guess part of that's trying to put us on the map as one of the big cinemas in the country. So we'd love to be a venue that has Q&A screenings. We're hosting our first Q&A screening in a couple of weeks. But also we feel like the experience that our customers get is one of the best, where you get a proper check-in experience. You go up the stairs, kind of like transcending into like this kind of like retro feel. And you can even take glasses in with you. I always say that's my biggest perk. You can take a glass of wine in with you. Where else are you going to get that? And obviously you've got the atmosphere of the pier where you can look out on the seafront as well.
Absolutely. It's a perfect setting. Now, to make the shortlist, you now need the community support. So what do people need to do?
So it's quite easy. So there's a voting link through BIFA's website. So all you need to do is vote for us, enter your email, and you can even say a bit about why you enjoy coming to the cinema. So if we get enough votes, we'll be put, one of 12 cinemas put in front of the voting panel, where we can really highlight why our experience is so good at the Pavillion. And then from there, we're hopefully going to receive a nomination, which means we'll be heading to the BIFA Awards in December.
How exciting. So exciting. Now, as the kids head back to school, what can we now expect in the cinema over the autumn months and towards Christmas?
So we've got a really exciting lineup. I've just been confirming our October screening. So Sunday mornings, we always make sure we've got kids screenings in. So September, it's Paw Patrol, the Dino movie. And then in October, we're going to bring back Matilda for the 30th anniversary screenings. We'll have Shaun the Sheep in for October half term, as well as Corpse Bride, hopefully. But also for the adults, we've got things like Pressure, which is a World War II drama based on D-Day, as well as the Oasis biopic coming out soon. And then there's a lot more. And then obviously in October, we're hosting Penarth Jazz Festival. So as part of that, we're hosting jazz film screenings. Obviously then you've got Halloween screenings, and obviously the run up to the Christmas period.
Fabulous. So much more for people to come and enjoy and get involved. If they haven't been to Penarth Pier Pavilion Cinema yet, they need to come and do that, don't they?
No, absolutely. We try and give everyone at least a couple of films that they're interested in seeing. So we like to say we're like the middle ground between an art house film, where it's going to be a bit too arty, but you're going to have that personalised experience, and like having the bigger films of a multiplex, but having a more personalised experience than that kind of corporate machine, I guess.
And voting for the BIFA Cinema of the Year shortlist is open until Monday the 21st September. There's details on how you can vote at Penarth Pier Pavilion's social media channels. So we're coming towards the end of the summer holidays, and there's still a couple of great events going on across the Vale of Glamorgan, one of which is Barry Town Council's annual Family Fun Day. And to tell us a bit about this, I'm joined by Emma Thorne from Barry Town Council. Thanks for coming in, Emma.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So for anyone who doesn't know, tell us a little bit about the history behind the Family Fun Day and what the event is all about.
So Family Fun Day originally began sort of before my time at the council. I've been there 4 years, and so it's been going on quite some time. It's an annual event, really our big event for the year, where we create a day out that is affordable, family friendly, and just great for all ages. That isn't going to cost you a fortune, and you can make some really good memories.
And why is it important for the town council, with all the work you do, to do events like this and to make things like this accessible for people?
As the town council, we're very much the grassroots. We're here for the people of Barry and for the community as a whole. So it's really important that we we really give them an affordable day out, something that they can enjoy. And towards the end of their summer holidays, you get a bit fed up with the kids after a while. You have nothing left to do with them. So we want to give you a day out that isn't going to cost loads and loads of money, and again, make some really good memories.
And originally there was kind of like a family fun day for everything, but more recently there's been themes chosen.
Yeah.
Last year, I'm trying to remember what it was now, it was science, wasn't it?
It was street skills
Street
last year.
skills and science the year before.
Yeah.
Tell us about this year's theme and how that was chosen.
So this year's theme is fantasy. I personally think it's a really epic theme. It encompasses so much stuff in fantasy. We just came together as a team, tried to think of sort of what was cool right now, and fantasy was where we went with it.
And to go on that theme of fantasy, what type of things are going to be there to fit that theme that people can get involved on the day?
So we've got so much. So when you think fantasy, so we've got dragons, we've got archery, we've got knights, medieval workshops and activities, gaming vans, VR gaming. There's a market that's specifically like fantasy themed and all that sort of stuff. Food, drink, falconry. There's a lot going on.
And one of the key things with this event, as in previous years, is that firstly it's free to attend, but also a lot of the activities are free or low cost, aren't
Absolutely, yeah. I would say more than 90%, like 98% of everything to do there is going to be cost free. If you brought a picnic along with you for the day, you technically could go out and spend nothing all day.
And one of the big things, the big draws have been shared quite around, is the dragons returning as well, which are always very exciting. Everyone seems to love those, don't they?
Yeah, we're teaming up again with Mythic Adventures, and they're bringing Dexter, Izzy, Fern, Luca. It's going to be so great.
So how can people find out more and find out what's going on and get a bit more information?
So probably the easiest way through social media, Facebook. Everybody has Facebook these days. So if you just search Barry Town Council on Facebook or head over to our website, both have a lot of information about what you can expect.
That was Emma Thorne from Barry Town Council talking about tomorrow's fantasy-themed fun day at Central Park in Barry. Next on the Vale this week, Barry Rugby Club has received news of a £200,000 investment from Barry Neighbourhoods to help progress its plans for the future. Monday Night Sports' Mike Fowler spoke to Daniel Maggs, who's head of partnerships at Barry RFC, earlier this week, and began by talking about the season so far.
So we've had a few issues with pitches. So there was initially 3 pre-season games scheduled. Firstly against Glamorgan Wanderers, but that game fell foul of the weather. And then there was a rearranged fixture, albeit against a different opposition. So the senior side had a run out against Llanishen RFC on their 3G pitch out in Cardiff. That was more of a training game. And then the game against Nant Pyllon, that was cancelled due to the weather. And the game against Brymawer was cancelled because of the weather. But I think that match has been rescheduled for Saturday the 5th at home at the Reservoir Fields.
So it's been a bit of a frustrating pre-season, and when we talk weather, sort of normally in South Wales we're talking waterlogged pitches, but it's the exact opposite this time, isn't it?
Yeah, no, we've had another glorious summer in terms of sunshine, but that's the caveat to that is it prevents teams from playing. That being said, the youth side had a run out on the weekend against Nant Pyllon youth and came away victory 19-7. So the youth are back to winning ways, and the athletic second 15 have got a run out this weekend against Blaenavon RFC Athletic at home.
So lots going on at the club. One of the big things, and if anyone follows on social media, they'll see the big announcement about the redevelopment there at the Reservoir Field. And I know you've been instrumental in getting this off the ground and running. But there's kind of been a big part of phase 1 has come through for you at the moment, hasn't it, Dan?
Yes. So we had some really good news on Friday. We had communication from Barry Plan for Neighbourhoods Board of Directors confirming that they will be putting £200,000 into the project, which is phase 1A. So when we started the project 12 months ago, which has changed on numerous occasions, But we've gone with a phased approach to the overall redevelopment, which is phase 1A, phase 1, phase 2, 3 and 4. And phase 1A is really the start of it all, which is the new entrance and the additional car parking space at the reservoir fields. So I just want to say a big thank you to the board of directors at the Plan for Neighbourhoods, in particular Dave Stevens, who's the chairman, Joe Castle, who's the chair for the Thriving Communities element, and also Meredith Velios. So yeah, they've been absolutely fantastic. They bought into the vision, and yeah, we had confirmation of the £200,000 funding package that they're going to be putting towards the project. Which, when it comes to funding, a lot of other funders, they ask about match funding. And finally, we've got the match funding piece of this phase 1 puzzle. So we're now in discussions with the Welsh Government Community Facilities Programme, and we put an expression of interest in for £300,000. And we're, crossing our fingers and our toes that that's going to come through as well. And that'll be the budget then sorted for phase 1A.
So you say phase 1A, then sort of this is I've been to some of the open evenings and that you've had down there, and this for anyone listening, this is not something that's going to be developed overnight. This is a long-term project for the club, isn't it?
Yeah. When I first joined the committee, the plan was to get a 3G pitch. But then, it came to fruition that we got a public right-of-way that we had to address that. And we've worked very much collaboratively with Vale Glamorgan Council and their various departments. So the Countryside Access manager is working with us on the public right-of-way. And then we got the planning teams as well. So, the Vale Glamorgan Council have been really supportive. And we've worked with them to get to this stage of the project. But the 3G pitch is phase 4 of the development, but phase 1A is the gateway to the rest of the phases. We have to sort out the car parking, we have to sort out the entrance, and without that, we can't move on to phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this phase 1A is so important, and the fact now we've got the match funding from the Plan for Neighbourhoods, Barry Plan for Neighbourhoods, is a big win. But now it's back to work and making sure we can secure the additional 300,000 so that we can realise phase 1A and then move on to phase 1, 2, 3 and 4.
So it sounds like lots of things going on there at the reservoir field, and it's not just sort of the planning and the development side going on, or the rugby side of it. You've introduced a football team up there. FC Barry have sort of taken home up there as well.
Yeah. And also we've got the Masters Rugby League. So for the first time in the reservoir field history, last weekend we had multi-sport up there for the first time. So we had football going on with FC Barry hosting Island Marine. And their season has got off to an absolute flyer. They're 2 from 2, scoring goals, conceding a couple, but they're scoring more than they're conceding. So 6 points from 2 games. This weekend they're away to the Tadros. And yeah, last weekend we had the Masters Rugby League hosting Aldershot and Fleet's Stags Rugby Masters. So yeah, the business model has changed. We're a multi-sports community hub. We've got numerous events going up there. We got the first music festival this weekend. The weekend after that, we got an evening with Mike Bubbins and Andy Powell. Then we got fireworks night as well, which we've just announced on Facebook. So grab your tickets now. Tickets are available via Eventbrite. £5 for adults, £2.50 for kids. So there's just a lot going on. And it's a bit of a transformational period right now for Barry Rugby Sports and Community Hub.
That was Daniel Maggs, Head of Partnerships at Barry RFC, speaking to Mike on Monday Night Sport, which you can catch up with via Listen Again at broradio.fm. Time now to have a look at what's going on over the bank holiday weekend ahead across the Vale of Glamorgan. Here's Celia.
Starting on Thursday the 27th, where Barry Town Council's annual Family Fun Day returns to Central Park in Barry. Running from 11am to 4pm, it's fantasy themed with dragons, dinosaurs, storytelling, workshops, games and much more throughout the day. Continuing this week, Pre-Loved Project's school uniform sale is on Halton Road. There are plenty of second-hand uniform items available at low costs to make going back to school even more affordable. On Friday, the Barry Neighbourhoods Board, in partnership with Barry Town Council, Keep Wales Tidy and the Vale of Glamorgan Council, present their final date of the Big Barry Summer Clean 2026, taking place at Oakfield Primary School in Barry for a 10 a.m. start. Also on Friday in Penarth, Illyria Outdoor Theatre presents Pinocchio at the Kimmin Gardens, Penarth. Bring your picnic and settle down for a fantastic afternoon of fun, laughter, with a well-known classic. Doors open at 2 p.m. and with a running time of 95 minutes. Search Penarth Pier Pavilion online for more. On Saturday, St Athan Community Council Village Fair 2026 takes place at the Paul Lewis Community Centre between 12 noon and 4 p.m. The attractions include crafts, fairground rides, games and activities. There are local stalls plus food and refreshments. It's followed then by Party on the Pitch, along into the early evening with live music. Also on Saturday, the Romilly Summer Event 2026 returns. The event features a fun dog show, classic car show, summer fete, live music, food stalls, laser clay pigeon shooting, inflatables, games and so much more. It's free to enter. It's on from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. with car parking available at only £2 per car plus disabled parking. Down in Southern Down Beach on Saturday, there is a million-mile coastal litter pick from 11 a.m. till 12. It's a chance to meet like-minded people, make new friends, get some fresh air and, most importantly, help protect the beautiful coast we all love. On Sunday in Lantwit Major Rugby Club, they've got Party on the Pitch is back. Spend the bank holiday Sunday with fun games for the kids, inflatables, food, drink and more, alongside live music from Shameless, The Hiraeth, Juice, Jeff Phillips and much more. The event is free and helps support your local rugby club. On Bank Holiday Monday, Dinas Powys Athletic Club are holding their third annual community fete on Bank Holiday Monday, August the 31st at the Common. The event runs from 12 noon through to 6 p.m. and includes stalls from local businesses. Craft and food stalls, but plus much more will be available, as well as entertainment. See Dinas Powys Athletic Club Facebook page for further details. Also on Bank Holiday Monday, Barry Athletic Cricket Club host a parent-led fundraiser, Bank Holiday Fun Day and Family Quiz. All money raised go towards tournament entry fees and related participation costs for an amazing Welsh karate squad to get to the European tournament in 2026. Activities include a raffle, tombola, glitter tattoos, bouncy castles, Nerf target game, football target, a variety of arts and crafts, and much more for all the family. Entry is free, but all activities are charged at a reasonable price. And if you're hosting an event in the Vale of Glamorgan, don't forget to list it at broradio.fm/events or on the free Bro Radio app.
Now, before we go, did you catch the first episode of ITV's The Voice on Saturday? Well, you may have spotted a local face. Lantwit Major performer Kate McHugh performed a beautiful cover of Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga's Die With A Smile, which led to her going on to be on Sir Tom Jones's team. I caught up with Kate on Monday's Vale Breakfast and began by asking how things have been since the show aired on Saturday.
I would say whirlwind is a good description. Yeah, it's been a bit non-stop. My Saturday was a little bit mental. I started off in town with a gig at 4:00 and then I legged it home and we just about made it back to Lantwit to watch the show with my mum and my family, which was lovely. A bit surreal, I'm not going to lie, watching myself on the telly. And then I was straight back out to work and I had another gig after it. So it's all go.
And we mentioned downstairs, this is something that's kind of recorded a long, long time ago. How does it feel to kind of see it and see that reaction now to the performance that you did such a long time ago?
Yeah, it does feel like I've been sat on it for a really long time. So it's exciting now that people get to see it.
And you said it's filmed months and months in advance. So how do you keep that under wrap for, you said it was June last year, I think you said? So
Yeah, a long time ago. So just keep stum.
And during the show, you did a beautiful performance of Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' Die With A Smile. With so many songs to choose from, and obviously if you're gigging as well, you've got a huge repertoire. Why did you choose that song in particular?
So the song has quite a lot of sentimental meaning. I'm sure if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's about love and like if you're going to be with someone and it's going to be the end, then you're going to go together. And that is just like, it's a beautiful sentiment. And having kids and having that like undying connection and love for them, it's, that's how I connected to the song.
And how did it feel when Tom turned, obviously being Welsh as well, I guess there's a thing of everyone wants to go on that show and wants Sir Tom to turn around and back them, don't they?
Yeah, that was, I mean, I always thought that would be like the goal. I wasn't pinning everything on it, obviously, because I mean it could have been a nothing. But yeah, when he turned around, I didn't know. Well, I'll let you into a little secret. That boom noise that they put in when they press the buzzers doesn't happen in the studio. They put that in post, so I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know that anyone had turned. So I just waited patiently. I think you can see it on my face that I'm just sort of like, and then obviously Tom Jones's voice comes out, and I was like,
it's amazing. And obviously some really great feedback as well from him, which is, I'm assuming, really great to hear as well from someone like him.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really get better than advice from Tom Jones, does it?
No, not at all. And you mentioned your eyesight there. So tell us about the condition you have and the disease and how that kind of impacts you as a performer. But obviously you've said quite openly as well about how performing kind of allows you to kind of be yourself as well. And
yeah, I mean, the beauty of being on a stage with lighting is that even for a sighted person, it's really quite isolating is the wrong word, but it does cut you off and bring you into your own world, because you can't really connect visually with what's in front of you because it's a dark room and it's full of people. So for me, I really didn't notice when my sight was going. It didn't massively make a difference at the beginning. And now, because I've been doing it for such a long time, having lost my sight, I mean, I started to lose my sight at 21 and I'm 32 now. So I'm well adjusted. But yeah, it's the one place when I'm on stage and I'm singing, I don't think about it. I don't think about the fact that as long as I know the words and I'm not trying to read them off an iPad, yeah, I'm just there.
You obviously, lots of people have been sharing on the post on The Voice UK their own kind of stories and struggles as well with their eyesight. How important is it for you when you've got a platform like this, I guess, to raise awareness and show other people that they can go and do whatever they want to do?
Yeah, it's a massive thing for me. It was one of the reasons that I decided to do the show, is that visual loss and blindness in general isn't massively represented in media. We don't see a lot of it, especially for young people, which I will count myself as young for now. So being able to stand up and show that, especially in the creative arts, that the obstacles that you might come across, like for me losing my sight, there are ways around them. And if you're a creative person, that's going to come out of you, whatever. So yeah, it's a real lovely thing to have all the messages and contacts of people letting me know that they've really connected and their journeys. And it's been quite emotional, I won't lie.
And with a show like The Voice as well, compared to a lot of the other talent shows, the great thing is your family get to come along on the ride as well and be there. How great was it to bring them there, to be able to see you perform and see that whole experience for you?
It was lovely. I don't know that my husband would describe it as lovely because he was having a major panic attack side stage. You see, Emma has to put her arm around him and calm him down a bit because he was really feeling the nerves for me. I don't know that Lily was. Lily, how did it feel watching Mummy? There you go. Really impressed, clearly.
Brilliant. And obviously you mentioned on the weekend you were really busy gigging as well, and you've got a couple coming up, so there's a chance for people to see you whilst we wait for kind of the next knockout stage of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on down. I've got a 9 p.m. gig in the Brew House in Cardiff on Tuesday. So that's with my fantastic guitarist Kyle Kemble. We're just going to be doing a couple of sets of acoustic-y things, and we do requests. So if you've got something you want to hear, Nathan, you let me know. And then I'm back in Cardiff on Sunday for... Oh, I've missed one. I'm in the Philharmonic on Friday night and again on Saturday. Then on Sunday, I'm in the Dock for their Dock Fest Music Festival. So I do a lot of singing.
That was Kate McHugh, a member of Tom Jones's team on the current season of The Voice UK. If you search for Kate McHugh on social media, you can follow her journey, keep up to date with gigs, new releases, and much, much more. Right now, that's the Vale This Week from Bro Radio. As always, if you've got a story to share, get in touch with us via news@broradio.fm. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time after a short break. In the meantime, you can search Vale This Week where you get your podcasts.